In 2017, I almost died. In fact, who I used to be almost died. My friends call it a transition period or they call it a crisis. But for me, it was my second rebirth. Nobody actually talks about this part of single parenting. And I'll tell you why I call this my second birth or rebirth, because you do things that you're not prepared for. You have never prepared for this kind of a life. You never had any plans. You have plans for your college, your marriage, your the ideal age for kids, your career, your ideal income, but you've never prepared for this. You were never conditioned for this. You don't know how society functions when you become a single parent. And I was doing this in a new city, new place, completely different culture, and a very, very different approach. And that's why I call it rebirth, because I had to experience things or not feel inclusive in places where I mostly thrived. Your Durga Puja pandals and your normal places where you actually end up meeting people and interacting with them, those are not for you anymore. You're not prepared for this. And this is the part that no one talks about specifically in the journey of a single parent. Have you ever heard of the term cool mom trap? I'll tell you what it is. This is a very interesting thing that nobody talks about it. And I can laugh about it today because my daughter is 19 years old. But I don't think I could have talked about this in this lighter mode few years ago. So there is this whole, I think this effort of being a cool mom, and I'm okay with everything kind of a mom, and you're here basically doing double parenting, which means you do have to play certain parts to ensure that everything is sane and there is peace in the house. So there are a lot of unsaid emotions, unexpressed anger. I would not say there is not anger out. Yes, we do express, but sometimes there's a lot of other things that you don't want to express. And for me, it's a 3 hour Bollywood drama that goes inside my head. And you know what sorts that out? Is to have a friend, a confidant, a safe space, a parent who could understand and I can crib to them about everything that's happening. But it has to be a safe space. And that's how you can manage some sanity and you can enter your kids' room minus that noise. The third part that nobody actually prepares us for is the inclusivity gap. No, no, not the corporate DEI initiative. That's not what I'm talking about. So I'm talking about the single parenting journey. You would have noticed this, maybe not being aware of it, but you would see that most of the events are holy events, they're annual year, new year events. It's always couple plus one, or it's a parent, or then there's a single tickets. Most of the events are like that. You wouldn't see a plus one or a single mom plus child. I'm sure single fathers would have faced the same, but I'm not in the right position to talk about them. I have seen that for myself, and I feel sad. I do feel hurt because that's not how I grew up, right? I was part of all of these events and in a more structured family way, and suddenly you're weaned out of that, but you're not prepared for it. And this is something, again, people don't talk about. We talk about being strong, but how can you be strong for something that you're not prepared for? You're still breathing in the concept of not being included in this social setting. Now, here is what worked for me. Not that I didn't try to change it, but not aggressively. It took me a while to embrace it. It took me a while to accept it and bringing change. So I do be part of these events now. Bring that small change one step at a time, but do not get all, you know, riled up about this and get really upset, you would notice that your child is generally wiser than kids of their age. And that hurts. And sometimes we make ourselves guilty for it. Do not be guilty. You can't protect your child from the realities. You have run away from one, and you can't protect them from all the realities. And sometimes maybe it is not something that we should do at that point of time. So and so stop getting into that guilt trip of my child is wiser because they went through all of this. Yes, they did, and their life is going to be different. The At least the initial years, till the time you settle as a parent, you embrace everything as a parent, the child also goes through that. And that's something, again, it's not normal parenting. It's a different kind of conversation you have with your child. So the child automatically gets wiser than most of the kids of their age, right? And something also that I've noticed, and not something I had thought of sharing, but your career and your finances are your business. 100% own it. There'll be a lot of people coming and saying things like, this is impractical, you should have thought about this, you should have not bought this, you should have saved it for their future. Live your life. That's what you stepped out for. So, your career, your financial freedom, how you do what you do is your business. Carve your own path, carve your own niche, work and look at things that works for you and your kid, and that's what matters the most. Something that I went through, and that's why I'm sharing, maybe not all of you go through it. I was jealous of people around me. I still get into the space of why why am I not having a companion, or why don't I have the companion, or sometimes looking at couples, in spite of the fact that you have gratitude and you're so grateful to see them happy, you do get jealous. And please do not punish or criticize yourself for getting there. You do get jealous, you do get feel ignored, hurt, sometimes not loved, lonely, and all of that is going to happen. And don't get into this thought process that why am I being so mean. Life was mean to you, so you will have that space of healing through that process, and give yourself that space, give yourself that that calmness, that kindness, that empathy, that as a human being you are bound to be jealous sometimes, you are bound to feel hurt and lonely, and that's okay for you to feel that. You will make mistakes, and you are bound to go through all of these emotions. Just find that tribe, a non judgmental space where you can share all of this. I want you to know you are not alone, not anymore. The safe space that I've been talking about is right here. If you're going through a health crisis and you feel you are handling it alone, I'm there for you. If you're going through a financial crisis, I can't promise us finances, but you can discuss things with me, because I am not going to judge and tell you that you are being impractical and judge the choices that you made in life. Most important, if you feel there is no one to celebrate the success that you are actually achieving or you've achieved so far, you can call me. We together on a call will raise a toast for your success and mine too. Maybe I made something that day. Just want you to remember you're not alone in this. And I am available on calls, on messages, on DMs. Just reach out. The only nudge by Sandy today is to enjoy the process of what you have, started. It's ironical that we walked out of our home because of self respect, and we do get disrespected by the society where we actually stepped out too, but that's the irony. But the beautiful part is you do get to pave this path for yourself. This is your second chance, and utilize it to the maximum. I have spent this journey 10 years and I haven't regretted a single minute of what I chose for myself and my kid.